Lisbon, the Netherlands, Milan, Romania, Phuket, and now Chiang Mai. It looks like the ultimate freedom, right? But behind the scenes of this world tour, my business was bleeding. I lost my biggest client, halved my monthly income, hit a wall while documenting everything on YouTube. If you try to do everything, eventually something breaks. And for me, it finally did. This is the unfiltered reality of a traveling entrepreneur. But what's next? To be fair, no one knows what's next because the future is always unpredictable. But that sounds a bit woo-woo. So I divided this video in a couple of topics and we start dealing with what's in front of you. What actually happened? I was traveling in December from Lisbon to my parents' house in Netherlands for Christmas, then to Romania for New Year's, then with some friends to Milan, like all over the place. While still doing all the client work. So still doing the copywriting for my clients, building a new business, so setting up advertisement agency with a business partner. Now back in Thailand. First Phuket, then Chiang Mai. Well, in the meantime, I was like crashing at places here, crashing at places of my parents. Never really had my own place. Duo to all the traveling and all the things in between. It felt quite heavy, to be honest, to still do the fulfillment of YouTube, to still fulfill the work for my clients. Because when you work as a freelancer, when you have your own business, you actually don't really have a day off unless you plan and structure things really well, which I did not. So after I lost that bigger client of mine that literally was like half my income, I was like, and then you just need to deal with what's in front of you. You don't have time to sob, you don't have time to sit with it. No, because I literally lost half my income and I'm on the other side of the world. So there's not really a safety net there. What I needed to do at that current moment and what I'm still doing right now is be 100% honest with myself. Where are you standing right now? How did this happen? Were there ways that I could have prevented this? Were there ways that made this loss less big for me? That honesty towards myself led to the realization that I became quite lazy because I was comfortable and more going through the moments of all the traveling and everything in between, which led to the moment where I need to like wake up and go and get new clients ASAP. So what you need to do then, or at least what I did, what works for me, is realizing where you are. What's your point A? You can say, hey, this is my point B. This is where I want to go. So for me, that's stability, more clients, more retainers, planning everything better with the workload that I have, and also planning everything better with the travels that are there. Because that is the dark side of this entrepreneurial journey while traveling the world. You just need to deal with what's in front of you. And there's no wiggle room for that many emotions or other stuff. So after you set your point A, where are you right now, and your point B, where you want to go, what I did is prioritize. So first, I need to finish the client work that I still have, and I need to source new clients. So I got my head out of my ass and just like did outreach, like dumb outreach through all my contacts. And that's literally how I booked like 7 sales calls within a week. Wow, they were already in my contacts. So I could have done this like weeks ago. But instead I waited until the moment that I lost my client. Out of those 7 calls, 1 client is already closed, half of the income of the bigger client back. There's still like 4 or 5 clients that are in the pipeline for next week that I'm gonna get a yes or a no on. And even today I have another call. So get your head out of your ass and just do your job. And that brings us to the next point of dealing with what is in front of you. What are the necessary required actions to get the results of you coming from point A to point B, and then doing those necessary required actions based on the priorities that you're set from the honest reflection of where you are. And then of course there's another part to the whole story when it comes to traveling. For example, in a lot of Airbnbs or accommodations that I stay in, they don't really have a kitchen. Well, right now I'm in Southeast Asia, so it's really easy to eat out every single day. I mean, that's amazing because you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean, you don't have to like do dishes or anything. But that also means that I needed to manage my finances better because I never had a budget. I just went out and like, okay, I was comfortable, money was there, or like I did some money from this fund to this fund and like juggling it around a bit, and now I literally have a budget. I just have a food budget every single day. So every single day I try, because I'm eating out, I'm in Southeast Asia, you can make it as expensive or as cheap as you want, and now I have a food budget of like 15 euros a day to just get through it at this current moment. And maybe it increases, maybe it decreases depending on the place where I am. Right now Chiang Mai, so not that expensive, at least from what I'm seeing so far. And that helps a lot as well. Just budgeting, what goes in, what goes out, how much did I spend on Bolts or Grabs or like cab rides or transportation, plane tickets, accommodation. If you just track all your finances, see what goes out and see what goes in, it's really easy to identify what's worth to you and where your money goes. And that's something that I got confronted with right now through the situation that I'm in. And that's okay, you live and you learn. And then there's the third point that I'm gonna do right now, and I'm honestly looking forward to since December. Since I was sleeping at my parents' house and at some other places, and like I never really had my own apartment, and now in Chiang Mai I do, and I really missed having a place of my own instead of just from hotel room there for 2 weeks and then there for 2 weeks. Just place of my own. Slowing down for me in the process of building a business, doing the work that I need to do for clients, working during the week, sometimes having like 6 days a week, 7 days a week. Hence, I always try to do at least one day a weekend and do maybe some things in the surroundings where I'm at, because in the end, it is quite cool to travel and work at the same time, but slowing down. So for now, I want to stay a month in Chiang Mai at least. After Chiang Mai, I'm going back to Bali. I'm gonna stay at least 2 months, like at least. And then I probably need to do a visa run somewhere, and then maybe 2 months more in Bali, so staying there for 4 months, or maybe going somewhere else. Sure, 100% no, but the plan is to slow down a little bit when it comes to the traveling and have the stability. That is when you actually get things done, and especially when you have your priorities straight and the things you need to do to keep your head afloat. And also staying in one place for a longer period of time is cheaper, since you don't have flight costs, less transportation, and renting an accommodation for a longer period of time almost always cheaper than 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And in the end, even through all the ups and downs this entire entrepreneurial nomad journey brings, I am grateful. I am really, really grateful for the people that I meet, the people that I'm with, the friends I have around the world, the network that I could rely on when I was down for a little now, introductions people made for me to other people to get my business up again. That's priceless to me. So I am internally grateful, and I am really thankful for living this life, like being on the beach in Phuket, enjoying the sunset from beautiful points in Bali, Vietnam, or wherever in the world. Like, it is quite an extraordinary life, and even though I'm by far not where I want to be yet, I work really hard to create the position where I want to be. The journey is amazing through all the ups and downs, and in the end, it's just how you deal with it that matters the most, because every challenge that you face is a lesson you learn. Without challenges, there are less lessons to learn. Even for the challenges that are in this entire journey, I am actually really, really grateful, because the behind the scenes are not always as glamorous as it seems. Yes, it is cool to work from a co-working and have a beach view and go there and like eat out, and like it's really cool, but it's not always as glamorous, because the situation that I just came from and that I'm still fixing right now, it's also brings a lot of stress. It also makes you work beyond average hours. That is the truth behind this entire nomad life, but it is part of the entire journey, and I do think being on the other side of the world is not helping if you got yourself in financial back pain. But that's life. It is the way it is. You live, you learn. And for now, I want to say subscribe, because there are lots of cool videos coming. One about Phuket, one about why is this life worth it or not, one about Chiang Mai, of course, and that's stuff you don't want to miss out on. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, visionaries, take action, and I see you in the next one. Ciao!